Meanwhile, over in Pakistan, which has an election on February 8th, grassroots members of the PTI, which is the kind of the biggest kind of party, opposition party in Pakistan, are just being arrested en masse when they sign up just to run for like lower level offices. And the opposition party leader, former Prime Minister Imran Khan, earlier this week was sentenced to 10 years in a totally bogus case around the alleged mishandling of a classified document that we actually published over
Yes.
The Intercept. He was not our source. He had nothing to do. He had nothing to do with it. They never proved he did. It was complete kangaroo nonsense. And then today they sentenced him to an additional 14 years for another completely ridiculous case. This one is like a state gifts case. So for background, Imran Khan was a famous cricketer. Extraordinarily wealthy. His next phase in his career after cricket was as a philanthropist. That's how he became doubly popular in Pakistan, building hospitals, universities, etc. And so then they charged him with taking gifts from like foreign, like say Pakistan goes on the Pakistan Prime Minister
Bob McDonald
goes to like Bangladesh and they give him like some gift, like a watch or something.
Yep.
They are accusing him of like keeping this stuff illegally. He says he did all the paperwork. The idea that a guy who is like massively rich and a philanthropist is trying to like pilfer a watch,
right,
is as absurd as you can imagine. He's tried in secret. Like nothing about the case made any sense. And they're banning him from running for office for 10 years and essentially banning the PTI from the ballot. It's complicated the way that the court did it. The State Department, meanwhile, no sanctions whatsoever. So yesterday at the State Department briefing, there were a lot of questions that were thrown at Matt Miller about this. And here's how I framed it to him, and here's his response.
As you said earlier, that's a matter for the Pakistani courts. When it came to Venezuela, that's a political matter, it seems. The Venezuelan courts, of course, approved Maduro's banning of the party. Now, you could say that court is under Maduro's thumb. It's a kangaroo court. But in Pakistan, the prosecution was held in secret. Just recently, his attorney, Imran Khan's attorneys, were kept out of the courtroom, and they took attorneys from the prosecution team and put them on the defense team. Nothing about that prosecution seems less than kangaroo. So why would Venezuela's be a political case, but when it comes to Pakistan, that's a matter for the Pakistani courts?
So there are different situations, and we have not yet made that conclusion with respect to the Pakistani legal process. When you look at Venezuela, we are looking at the entire history of the Maduro regime in cracking down on democracy and, most importantly in this case, failing to carry out the commitments that they made to allow candidates to run. It's a commitment that they made that the country has reneged on, and that's why we were able to make the assessment in that case.
So there might still be a determination on the Pakistan question?
I don't have anything to preview, but it's not one that we've made at this time.
So Matt Lee, So Matt Lee, the AP reporter, followed up immediately after this and said, wait a minute. So Venezuela does not have independent courts, but are you saying that Pakistan does?
Right.
He's like, and he said, my phone's dying here, but if I looked up the State Department's human rights report on Pakistan, would I find that the State Department feels like the Pakistani courts are completely independent and trustworthy?
What would we do as a country without him in those briefings?
I know, it's fun to watch him.
I'm glad you're in there now too. You've started going a lot more frequently.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to be in there. They don't necessarily answer the questions, but you can put things to them and hear how they respond. So if people are actually wondering what the difference is,
yes,
Venezuela is an adversary. Maduro is an adversary of the United States, and the military-backed government in Pakistan is an ally of the United States. And Imran Khan was seen to be either adversarial or too neutral.
And we wanted him to cooperate on weapons production because we were in a hot war with Russia.
Yeah, he famously gave this speech to a large rally in response to the EU demanding and the U.S. Privately demanding that Pakistan support Ukraine and not take what the U.S. called aggressive neutrality when it came to Ukraine and Russia. He gave a speech where he said, "We are not your slaves," and that kind of rhetoric chafes the West. It's like, what are you talking about? You do what you're told, and now he's in prison.